So once upon a time, there was a AAA 5-star VR game that was awesome. But it had its flaws, like crashing on high-end computers. I own one of those computers, but I'm playing on my lower-end computer, and it works fine on it. Thus, this is the reason why I am having to stream this way. Instead of loading the program first and then streaming, I have to do it all from ground up. Otherwise, it crashes. When you press the see-through dash button, it'll crash, even on this computer. So that's why this kind of load up. Sorry about that. I'll shut up now. I don't even know if I made any sense or not. Shut up. Here we go.
Hello, Jack. If you're looking for the captain, she's in the workshop with Dr. Harlan.
What is that? A motion detection system?
One of several independent sensors rigged to trigger detonation.
Jack, there you are.
Good. He's finally here.
Dr. Harlan and I were just giving this torpedo the once-over while we waited.
Learn anything useful?
Yeah, it's a death trap.
Not that that's anything he has to worry about. Now then, are we ready to begin?
I don't like him.
Affirmative. I'm ready. That is assuming all the details have been sorted out.
Yes, everything's in order. Let's proceed.
Hold on. There's still some particulars that need ironing out here.
There are always going to be unknowns. That's just something we have to accept.
Let's assume this works. Let's assume we open another anomaly and send Jack's consciousness back to the past. What exactly is he supposed to do when he gets there?
Locate an undetonated biomass torpedo and sample the genetic material inside.
So you can use the data to create a cure. Right. I get that. I'm saying, how is he supposed to do it? It's not like he can physically bring the sample back with him. And if he's in a combat shell, it won't be fitted to do a medical scan. How will he collect the data?
He'll have to improvise, of course.
Apollo?
Greetings, Captain Rhodes. I have analyzed the situation and would like to propose a solution.
It's good to see you too.
We can exchange more formal pleasantries later if you like, Captain. For now, if you would please proceed to the holotable.
What can you tell us about the biomass, Doctor?
Very little. Far less than one would hope.
Humanity has lived with this organism for 400 years. We must have learned something. All right, Apollo, let's hear it. How does Jack get the data from the biomass incubator?
According to Jack's memory logs, the last anomaly caused his protocols to transfer into a Series 10 combat shell. This unit was equipped with a threat scanner, which could be reconfigured to gather data on biomass specimens. Once we've successfully located a biomass torpedo, I will repurpose his threat scanner to collect data from the incubator inside. The collected data should then easily transfer back with us.
It will be good to have your expertise.
You're going too.
A copy of my protocols has already been integrated into Jack's architecture. I see no reason why we would not be transported together.
And how do we know you'll be transported to the right time and place?
If we create an anomaly precisely the same way as we did before, isn't it reasonable to assume we would get a similar result?
That would be my assessment as well, based on our previous experience. So long as we closely replicate the conditions that caused your previous jump through time, I expect the result to be nearly identical.
In other words, they should arrive at roughly the same time and place where Android first saw the torpedo.
And once they've got the data, how do we get them back?
If the experience is anything like before, my consciousness should return automatically.
That is our assessment as well. Dr. Harlan and I believe Jack's time in the past is directly correlated to the state of the FTL drive. In essence, Jack, the longer the drive here remains active, the more time you'll have in the past.
We'll keep it running for as long as we can. Give you as much time as possible.
The Astrea's fuel cell is exceedingly efficient and will most likely last long enough for us to locate an incubator and collect the relevant data.
Once we disengage the FTL, you should be returned to the present time.
Should? You're gonna have to do a bit better than should.
This is time travel we're talking about. All we have are best guesses.
Liv, there's far too much that we do not know about how these anomalies work, but your safety is my primary concern, and this is your best chance of survival.
This is the only way we get a cure. The only way we survive. You, me, everyone.
All right, Jack. You've clearly made up your mind already. I just wish we had a better plan than shoving you in an anomaly and hoping it all works out.
Juno, prep the engineering bay.
Right away, Doctor.
Jack,
It's all right, Liv. I've done this before.
once. By accident.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
I don't know if you're being naive or just really optimistic. Just make sure you come back safely, all right?
Is that an order, Captain?
Well, technically we're both captains, remember? But yes, that is an order.
Acknowledged, Captain. I will do everything in my power to return safely.
The engineering bay is prepped and ready.
Good. Seal all the ship's bulkheads. We cannot risk any accidental contamination. Once we...
Of course, Doctor. Jack, please enter the control room and the engineering bay below. This way. The control room is right through this door. Sealing the engineering bay now. Engineering bay sealed.
Dr. Harlan, any inspiring words?
No.
We all believe in you, Jack, to varying degrees.
Let's get started. What do I do first?
Please adjust the dials to connect the fuel cell conduits to the drive core. First conduit connection complete. All conduit connections complete.
Good. We are ready to release the ticks into the engineering bay. Once you engage the FTL, they should begin feeding on it and create an anomaly, just like before.
Jack, are you ready for us to release the techs?
Ready to proceed, Juno.
Acknowledged.
Were the lights supposed to turn off like that?
Don't worry. We're just rerouting power so the ticks can only feed on the FTL drive. Stand by. Releasing tick specimens.
Well, I certainly seem to have their attention.
Once you engage the drive, they should be drawn to the FTL. All systems are primed. Awaiting ignition.
Do it. Engage the FTL. Now.
FTL drive engaged. Biomass FTL interaction confirmed. The ticks are affecting the drive stability.
Here goes. Stay safe, Jack.
Of course, Liv.
Anomalous readings detected.
Take care of him, Apollo.
I shall do my utmost, Captain.
Anomalous readings taken.
Good luck, Jack.
Come in, Delta Squad. Delta 6 requesting assistance. Is severely irradiated. Shell integrity currently below 60%. Secured shelter, wreckage of the Kronos 2. If you're receiving this transmission, please respond.
We have arrived. What is your status?
Core systems appear operational.
Good. We must keep in mind, this combat shell was not designed for biomass engagement. Any contact with the infestation will render us immediately inoperable.
Where should we begin searching?
Undetermined. I'll scan the area for identifiable landmarks.
There was a transmission from a Delta member as we arrived. Did you hear it as well?
Affirmative. They are continuing to broadcast. I'll patch them in now.
Kronos 2 wreckage. Currently assessing biotorpedoes in the area.
I recognize this unit as Delta 6.
Interesting. It appears this Delta 6 has already located several torpedoes. Reaching their location may be our most expedient option.
They said they're located at the wreckage of the Kronos 2. How far are we?
At minimum, we are within comms range. The distance should be manageable. We should first clear ourselves of this debris, then see if the signal strengthens. However, we should check your equipment before we go. I will do my best to keep this expedient. Let's begin with your shielding. This unit has been optimized for combat scenarios and is capable of regenerating its shield without the use of external chargers. However, a significant delay is required for the process to begin after sustaining damage. You may need to exercise patience.
Understood.
Next is your armament. This unit is equipped with an M19C repeater, designation Pulsar. Jack, are you comfortable wielding a firearm?
I'm accustomed to operating new tools. I'm certain learning to use this armament will be no different.
Very well. I shall construct a brief simulation so that you may familiarize yourself with the device. Your armament is now unlocked. Open fire on the targets. Targets eliminated. Unfortunately, should we encounter ticks, it is unlikely they will be quite so docile. These targets should provide a close approximation to tick activity. As such, successfully hitting a given target may require you to aim ahead of its movement. The ionized bolts of your armament are surprisingly slow, though I suppose that is acceptable for weaponry of this century. Jack, fire continuously at this last accuracy. Overheat detected. Notably, each firing of your weapon causes a portion of energy to be retained as excess heat. Without sufficient time to cool, this buildup will exceed maximum operating temperature, leading to an emergency venting cycle.
Can this be averted?
Yes, firing in controlled bursts is the most efficient way to do so. However, you may use the button on your wrist to manually vent any heat within the unit. But this choice should be made tactically. The weapon will remain inoperable while venting.
Understood.
Excellent. Lastly, we need to inspect your threat scanner.
It's what we'll use to scan the biomass's base genetic material, correct?
Indeed. However, until we locate a viable torpedo, we shall instead rely on its original functionality, identifying nearby hostiles. To that end, I have optimized the device's settings to our mission parameters. Once activated, it will emit a single sensor pulse, followed by a brief recharge cycle. Try doing so now. Hostile identified. A tick just beyond the bulkhead. It appears dormant for the time being.
Can it be avoided?
Given the surrounding topography, no. Though your strategy is sound. Armament from this era won't be particularly effective against any form of the biomass.
Very well. I am ready to engage. Can you unlock the harness?
Done. Now that you are free, I must advise, operating your firearm will produce substantial recoil. I strongly encourage you to brace by maintaining a firm grip on nearby surfaces.
Acknowledged.
It appears sustained fire will be required to defeat the tick. Threat neutralized. Well done, Jack. Warning. I am detecting extreme levels of radiation in the surrounding area.
As 6's transmission indicated, that would also explain the comms interference.
The wreckage ahead contains a shielded view pane. It should offer full protection while allowing us to identify the source of radiation.
The Estrella appears to be the source of radiation.
The main reactor. I estimate it will continue burning for several months. We should keep moving. That power cell is temporarily distracting the tick. Though, a direct hit to the cell from your pulsar would likely cause it to detonate. Shields at 95%. The debris field ahead offers far less protection from radiation. Extra precaution will be needed to stay out of the light. Furthermore, I am detecting a significant biomass presence. I strongly advise frequent use of your threat scanner to plan an optimal route.
Acknowledged.
Warning to any receiving. Hostile equipment in the area designated biotorpedo. Devices will seek vessels. Proximity detonation is triggerable even by personnel. Recommend vessels maintain a minimum safe distance of 100 kilometers. Personnel should evac immediately.
It would appear Delta Squad has become familiar with the operation of the torpedoes. Perhaps that is what caused their vessel to crash.
Given that they began investigating the torpedoes in close proximity, that result is highly probable.
Shields at 95%. An energy pulse from the anomaly.
Is it still stable?
I believe so, at least relatively. Nonetheless, we should remain focused on finding a torpedo if we hope to do so before the anomaly collapses.
Operational status report. Delta Squad operating at minimum capability. Activation pod power off charge. Delta Actual and Delta 9. KIA. Delta 13. MIA. Delta 6. Active, but unable to perform reboot protocols. If you are receiving, forward to Titan Command with authentication code. Gamma 7 base fuel.
Apollo, should we respond?
Negative. The interference is still too great. Nonetheless, I will continue monitoring the situation. Shields at 95%.
Another pulse.
Magnitude minimal. I believe we still have ample time before our forcible return to the future. There is a faint distress signal emitting from a cavern just ahead. Its frequency is similar to Delta 6's earlier transmission. We should investigate. Frequency similarities between the distress signal and Delta 6 cannot be a coincidence. We need to investigate. Distress signal located.
It's a CubeSat, one of Delta Squad's recon units.
It appears to be in need of our support.
Delta Unit, I'm picking up your signal in proximity to Reconnaissance Satellite 3. Is that you, 13? Or was it Jack?
Jack, we have insufficient time for complications. We should keep our relation to this combat unit as simple as possible. I will conduct all communication with you privately, and I must insist we maintain the persona of Delta 13.
Very well, Apollo. Delta 6, this is Delta 13. I read you. ReconSat 3 was engaged by multiple hostiles. I moved to assist.
I see. 13. Your return is peculiar, but appreciated. It appears ReconSat 3 would not have survived its perimeter sweep without your aid. Though, what is your status? Is your pod operational?
Affirmative. All systems nominal. Rally at your position?
Acknowledged. ReconSat 3 will lead the way. Destination, Kronos 2 Bridge. I will require your assistance in assessing the bio-torpedoes.
Acknowledged. We are en route. 13 out.
Well done, Jack. Your replication of tactical speech was convincing.
My experiences with Liv have taught me many things. It would appear that improvisation is one of the most useful.
Agreed.
An activation pod.
It is as Delta 6's transmission indicated. They are unable to reboot.
ReconSat 3, I can see your signal light from here. Proceed with caution. There are hostiles. Interference from the anomaly. Delta 13, status. Are you experiencing malfunctions again?
Negative. No malfunctions detected.
Acknowledged. Proceed with caution. There are hostiles in the area.
Understood. A Series 10 Echo unit shell from Delta Squad.
ReconSat 3 is detecting a nearby threat. Advise clearing the area before you proceed. Additional threats detected. I recommend enacting the sweep and clear protocol.
Another shell from Delta Squad.
Perhaps their final shell. An unfortunate end. should keep moving. Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%. Shields at 50%.
It appears you've arrived here intact. Well done.
We need to locate the torpedoes as soon as possible.
Thank you, Delta 6. We should continue our mission immediately.
Agreed. Primary objective: threat assessment of hostile devices. Secondary objective: establish a warning beacon for passing vessels.
You are unable to reboot, correct? Perhaps I should take the primary objective.
Agreed. A further encounter with the bio-torpedoes would likely result in operational failure on my part. However, I can still provide some assistance. By leveraging the Kronos 2 systems, I have already performed a sensor sweep. In doing so, I have identified a large number of active torpedoes in a nearby clearing. The results are available here, on the holotable, if you wish to review them.
Can you push the objective to my ARM computer?
Affirmative. I've also included the clearing's coordinates at the associated location marker, should you need it.
Acknowledged.
You may proceed through here to reach the clearing. I will begin efforts toward our secondary objective shortly. Report back here once you have completed your assignment.
Copy that.
Interference from the Astraeus radiation will continue beyond the arrival of the Ithaca. It is unlikely Delta 6's secondary objective will be accomplished.
We are fortunate to have their assistance, though. Locating torpedoes has saved us considerable time.
Agreed. The alignment of our objectives is fortunate indeed.
Delta 6, you reactivated Kronos 2 sensors to obtain these readings.
Correct. As you know, the R&D priority protocol indicates we must collect detailed information firsthand. These readings are merely a foundation for your assessment.
Of course. Apollo, if Delta Squad was not able to safely perform their assessment, how will we collect our data on the base genetic material?
Unlike the rest of Delta Squad, you have my assistance. I will bring the entirety of my electronic countermeasure suite to bear against the torpedoes. I am certain I will be able to disable their proximity detonators.
And if there are additional defensive systems?
A possibility I have already considered. We'll be ready. Furthermore, I shall reconfigure your threat scanner for inspecting the torpedo incubators. Stand by. Reconfiguration complete. Your threat scanner should now be able to generate a detailed mapping of the biomass's base genetic material, though the range of the instrument has been somewhat diminished.
I suppose that's a trade-off we'll have to accept.
Indeed. more active. We need to hurry. Dr. Harlan and the captain may be close to having expended the fuel cell.
A biomass torpedo, already detonated. Is there any value in scanning it?
Negative. Dr. Harlan has already gleaned as much as possible from such specimens. Shields at 95%.
Apollo, I've located a torpedo. Is this close enough to scan?
Unfortunately, no. We need to reach the forward end of the torpedo, where the base genetic material is housed.
You're certain that we're masked from the detection?
Yes, my countermeasures are holding. It should be safe to approach.
Apollo, is this range sufficient for a scan?
It should suffice. However, the torpedo's shielding is denser than anticipated. For a successful scan, it appears we'll need to expose the base genetic material. I believe that by interfacing with the torpedo, I should be able to reveal the incubator at the forward end.
Do you need me to do anything?
Possibly. I cannot be certain until I have actually accessed the torpedo's systems. I advise maintaining full tactical readiness.
I am uncertain what tactical readiness implies.
Apologies. Simply be ready for anything.
Understood.
I will begin once you designate the incubator for scanning.
Incubator located.
Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Interfacing now. This is more complex than I had.
Apollo?
The torpedo's defense protocols have activated. It has locked the incubator and is attempting to power its main drive. It's beginning launch procedures. I will stall for as long as possible.
Then we need an alternative.
Agreed. I'm opening access hatches on the front end. The manual overrides within them should trigger a maintenance mode.
Override activated.
Perfect. Take care of the one on the opposite side as well.
Second override activated.
Well done, though the launch procedure is still online. Perhaps we can overheat the main drive. Enabling maintenance mode gave us access to the torpedo's cooling cells. Remove them. The cells are locked behind a protective housing. Lower it.
Cells removed.
Perfect. You will need to remove the second array on the opposite side as well.
Additional cells removed.
Jack, the launch procedure is nearing completion.
Main drive destroyed.
Launch sequence averted. That finally did it. I am able to unlock the incubator now. And we should do so quickly. It appears we may not have much time.
Incubator exposed.
Excellent. We should begin the scan immediately. Scanning.
Apollo,
Imprinting now. It should not be much longer. Just a moment longer.
Apollo.
Data secured. Well done, Jack.
I suppose now we should simply wait for the anomaly's collapse.
I believe so, yes. It does appear to be fairly unstable at this point. I estimate no more than a few minutes remain.
Very well.
Perhaps there is a way we could signal the Doctor and Captain Rose that we are ready to return.
Were that viable, I would have expected them, or you, to have already suggested a means for doing so.
Certainly. However, I was attempting to prompt one of your creative solutions.
I see. The anomaly is going to close any moment now.
Preparing for return displacement. Jump imminent. Jack, are you here as well?
Why are we still here?
I am uncertain. Our plan was developed under the requirement that the anomaly's collapse would return us to 2537. Had this outcome appeared likely, I would have developed a contingency.
Do we have an alternative means of returning?
Given the limited resources available to us here, no, not that I am aware of.
13. Now that the anomaly has subsided, I have run an additional test of the beacon. Radiological interference is still too significant. Nonetheless, the beacon is prepared to transmit continuously once the radiation subsides. As such, I am now shifting my priority back to the primary objective. What is the status of your assessment?
Assessment complete.
Well done. Unfortunately, our lack of extended range communication leaves us unable to deliver your work to Titan Command. Therefore, we must enact the Message in the Auto protocol. Report back to me in the activation bay so that we may discuss the details.
Jack, assisting Delta 6 may be our best solution at this point. Both of Delta Squad's objectives are still viable, though unlikely. The radiation may subside in time for the beacon to warn the Ithaca.
And if it doesn't?
Then we follow protocol.
The Message in a Bottle protocol.
Yes, it is a standardized Atlas procedure. In short, Delta 6 intends to store our assessment in a secure device until it can be recovered.
That information would disrupt the events of this timeline.
That is the intention, to prepare humanity to defeat the biomass sooner.
But then what happens to Liv?
We have no way of knowing. Our own limited experiences are the only concrete information we have regarding time travel. Simply put, there are too many confounding factors to even make an assessment.
I see.
It is, however, possible that once events here stabilize, we will be able to obtain help in returning to the future. Therefore, I advise we wait until the Ithaca or other Atlas personnel arrive. We can then reevaluate.
Very well, then we wait. I will inform Delta.
13. I did not receive a response. Do you copy?
Copy, Delta 6. I'm en route.
Copy. 6 out.
13. Rendezvous at my position.
It would appear the activation bay, though now somewhat separated from the bridge, survived as well.
13. You've returned. Let me know when you are ready to commence.
Apollo, what are the odds of this beacon successfully warning the Ithaca?
Considerably low. My estimates indicate the Estrella will continue burning beyond the arrival of the Ithaca, thereby blocking the signal. We can only be certain by waiting for that event to occur, though.
Given the state of Dr. Harlan's timeline, do we not already know that the beacon fails one of my old Series 11 shells?
It appears to be in functional condition. Given the surrounding damage, that is impressive.
Let's begin.
Very well. Your new shell is right over there.
Awaiting your transfer.
My new shell.
Correct. Protocol dictates we should place the assessment data in the most secure storage solution available, Tier 6 or higher. That Series 11 shell should do nicely.
That should make waiting for the Ithaca far simpler.
Understood, 6. I will transfer when ready.
Acknowledged. You may open the activation pod via the console over there. I will attempt further optimization of the beacon in the meantime.
I'll prepare the transfer. Initiate through your ARM computer when you're ready.
Transfer appears complete. Please confirm, 13.
I am online.
Acknowledged. You are now integrated into the activation bay's power grid, which I have connected to a mobile reactor. It should provide ample power for both you and the beacon, especially once you've engaged your hibernation protocol. I will do my best to keep you and the power supply safe.
Acknowledged. Delta 6, will you let me know if the anomaly reappears?
Peculiar. Very prudent. Very well. Initiate hibernation when ready.
I've set the protocol for timed disengagement so that we may awaken for the Ithaca's approximate arrival.
Excellent. It is unlikely anyone else will arrive in the meantime.
Indeed. Ready when you are, Jack.
Good luck, Delta 13.
Automated nav transponder. Vessel entering Saturn orbit. Preparing for course correction burn. Destination, Earth. End of transmission.